Welcome back to the Biz Alchemy podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about the M word. And it's a word that I don't often use. As you know, we've been talking language here lately on the podcast. I do use the word marketing. It's not true that I don't use it. I do use it, but my preference is to use the word connection, because I believe that brings a yin quality that for those of us who are harmonizing the yin and yang within ourselves and within our businesses, which is part of the New Earth consciousness, we resonate more with the word connection and the energy of connection than we do of marketing. So yes, I put marketing in the title because I also recognize that that is a more familiar term for many people who are in business. But now we're in the podcast, I'm going to refer to it as the way that you connect with your tribe. So are you happy with the way that you connect with your tribe? Are you happy with the channels that you have created? Or is there a sense that there is some other way, there is another channel for you, and perhaps it's a channel you've denied before, just not feel drawn to? Perhaps it's simply that you're bored and no longer feeling inspired and creative in the ways that you are currently connecting with your audience, with your tribe. So there's always a story, isn't there? And I'm going to share a little story of the journey I have been on around this. As you're aware, I have been personally transitioning to embody more of my connection and my channeling ability with the Roseline Soul Group. And that has left me in a little bit of a dilemma, I suppose, about how do I share about this? Where do I share about this? Because I don't want to ostracize the beautiful audience I have of entrepreneurs who are excited and so aligned with learning about a new way to be in business. What I've been calling now for a couple of years, the New Earth way of being in business. And prior to that, I was referring to it as a new paradigm of business. And as I've been doing that, you'll probably have noticed that I haven't shown up on the podcast platform as much, simply because I feel like I have said so much of what has come through me about the New Earth business. Now, I'm not saying that that's all there is, but I'm finding that my downloads and the insights and wisdom I'm remembering is not so much business focused of late. It has been more to do with the Roseline energy. And that actually does connect in, and I'll provide that connection later on. But a part of my dilemma has been, well, my podcast has an audience that is interested in learning more about a New Earth business. They may not feel a resonance with the Roseline, so I don't want to be talking about that part of my journey here. And likewise with my newsletter, I have woven it in because, of course, I want to show up as all of me. I don't want to hide parts of myself because that is not a part of New Earth and a New Earth business, which involves all of you showing up. But I've had a sense that there is a platform where I can channel that part of myself. And of course, I've been doing that through my Patreon group, the Roseline, but that's not necessarily a channel for connection, for marketing, that aspect of my business. Well, I've received clarity about that, and it came in an unexpected way. Late last year, I did try being in capital letters really, because I lasted a few weeks, but I did try Instagram again, and there was just no resonance for me. I didn't feel excited and inspired to go onto Instagram. And so I pulled back. It felt like I was wasting my time in that I felt like I was just sending my voice out to no one in particular. And I'm used to also being on Insight Timer, where when I send my voice out, there is an audience there that already has a certain level of resonance with me for the very reason that they're on that app, which is they are interested in their own personal development, in their spiritual evolution and expansion. So Instagram just wasn't working for me, and I felt overwhelmed by all of the information on there. So it's been there at the back of my mind. Like it's been there. What do I do? Now, interestingly, about a year ago, I was guiding a meditation on Insight Timer, and I was offering questions for people to ask their business. And one of the questions was, what is the best way for me to market at this time? Or what is the best channel for me to market? Something like that. And as I was waiting for everyone to go through that visualization themselves, I asked my business, and my business came back and said to me, YouTube. And I was just like, no, that's too much hard work. I love podcasting because it doesn't matter what I look like. I can be in my swimming costume, which I have for many an episode. YouTube, even the setup feels just more difficult. I don't have the gear. There were so many stories around it. So I didn't follow that last year. And in many ways, I didn't feel inspired by it. And I didn't get that wonderful, sacred, masculine, inspired action coming through. So I just left it to the side. Anyway, about a month ago, I was watching something on YouTube and a video came up in my feed, and it was a promotion by Think Media for their YouTube course. Now, I had subscribed to Think Media probably about a year ago when it was mentioned by Amanda Ellis, the tarot card reader who has a big YouTube channel. And I began following them at that time, but I didn't watch their videos very often because a lot of them were around cameras and this and that, and I wasn't interested. So anyway, this webinar came up and I ended up signing up for it, and then I watched it. And when I watched it, I knew straight away. I went, it's time. It's time for YouTube. It's time to learn the tech. It's time to manage with the tech you have, but learn how to do it in the best possible way. It's time to invest in your business. I actually do not invest a lot in my business in terms of learning because I tend to just follow my intuition and go with where I'm being led. I don't necessarily learn through courses or programs, and I haven't for a long time. But it was so strong that it's time. They offered a 30-day money-back guarantee, so I thought, well, at least I have a chance to have a look at it. So I just dived right in. And the thing with me is, I definitely am a Taurus. It sometimes can take me a little while to get moving, but once I move, I charge. And so, not that I've even watched much of the course yet, but I've watched different videos by them, and I'm really feeling inspired to make something of my YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel for years. I think there was about 470 subscribers a couple of weeks ago when I started exploring some of the content. And already that started to increase, which is exciting. But probably because I've actually been posting videos, which I hadn't done much of in the last couple of years. All my podcast episodes go there, but they're not created as a video. They're just an audio. So I'm feeling excited because I can tailor what I'm creating, the content around my journey with the rose line and what that means. I'm learning the best way to present what I'm sharing. I'm learning about thumbnails. I'm learning about the tech without, as I said, investing in anything new at this stage. And I haven't even actually started the course. But it's also taken me back to basics. It's taken me back to my niche. And it's encouraged me to look at who I've been speaking to the last few years and who am I speaking to now. And the interesting thing about that is I've discovered that it hasn't changed. And that feels a relief for me. But it also feels exciting. Because all that has happened is that I am seeing my journey and sharing my journey through an expanded filter. But ultimately, I'm taking you on the same journey that I was taking you on before. And this journey is to New Earth. All of my videos on YouTube from the last few years are all about creating a New Earth business, even when I didn't call it that. A business where the yin and the yang are in harmony. This is the energy of New Earth. And this is where I come back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast about the rose line. Regardless of the way I talk about the rose line, the fact that I'm channeling these beings are here to help guide us in finding this place, remembering this place within ourselves where the yin and the yang are in balance, where our sacred feminine and sacred masculine is in harmony. Because this is the key to New Earth consciousness. This is what enables us to expand and create New Earth. So in the last few days, I've suddenly realized that I'm talking about the same thing. Whether it is about the embodiment of New Earth energy in our business or the embodiment of New Earth energy in ourselves, what is our New Earth mission? This is what the rose line, in all the channeling I do of the oracles of the rose line, this is what they're helping the recipients remember. Remember how to access the consciousness of New Earth. Remember their role as the creator of New Earth through the accessing of that consciousness. And obviously, if we're remembering our mission, that's going to significantly impact our business and is going to assist in the bringing of our business into a New Earth consciousness. So this has been incredibly exciting for me. And in many ways, it was my realization that I required a new marketing channel, a new way to connect with a tribe that I haven't been able to access directly through my business energy conversation. And this has given me clarity on what I'm actually doing now, what I'm speaking about, what the overarching theme is. And it's also helped me realize ultimately what my role is to support you in creating New Earth. That's my path. Whether I'm talking about business, whether I'm talking about your personal mission, whether I'm taking you on retreat to sacred sites that holds the codes of this new energy within the earth, that's what I'm doing. And it has been through choosing this new channel, this new way of showing up, that I've had that clarity. I'm also excited because I'm receiving from my business new knowledge, new wisdom about tech. I asked the question last week in one of my groups. I think it was the playground because we were covering receiving in March. And I asked the question about how else do you receive from your business? And for me, the education is an important way. So much of my education about tech has come because I've had to be educated to support my business. And so this is another whole new education for me. And I'm excited about it. And I'm ready to learn about it. Last year I wasn't. So please, if you want to keep track of my journey in YouTube, and especially once I actually start the course itself and just stop watching random videos, which is what I'm doing at the moment, follow me on YouTube. And I'm sure it will assist you also in learning how to create videos for YouTube and go on the YouTube expansion journey. But also, you might love to hear my content. And another reason I really felt drawn to set this up before I head over to Europe. It's only 4 weeks from when I'm recording this to when I go to Europe. And there was a part of me saying, you haven't got time. There is no time to be learning something new. I'm preparing so much for this journey. I'm away 4 months. I have 4 retreats while I'm away. But the timing is right. And I also want to create videos for YouTube from some of those sacred sites. So I wanted to get more familiar with it and the best way to be able to do that before I get there. So that's also part of the reason that the timing felt perfect for me. And actually, speaking of that, just to let you know, if you are drawn to the sacred sites of Europe, I'm going to a lot this year, not just with groups. I'm also doing some personal journeying to places that in the future I could offer retreats or mystery schools at. I'm going to some incredible places. So what I have decided as an offering so that you can accompany me to these sacred sites from the comfort of your own home and receive activations from those sites is I'm creating a little offering. And that offering will include 8 meditations from different sacred sites, bringing through the energy and the codes of those sites. And you will receive the meditation and the activation if you are part of this group. And that will be a low-cost offering. There will also be an opportunity to have a personal activation from one of those sites, which I will record and send to you. So I'm going to get that set up in the next couple of weeks. So you will hear about that either here on the podcast or definitely if you're on my newsletter list, which you can join going to jacquelynatkins.com/newsletter. And also, if you're following me on YouTube, I'll be talking about that. So that's a very long story, but I like to share my stories with you because I believe that in hearing other people's stories, it can activate inspiration within you. So perhaps with the sharing of my journey through finding a new channel to connect with my audience, you have been inspired to try something new. Perhaps you've been inspired to try YouTube. Perhaps you've been inspired to start a podcast or go onto Insight Timer or Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or one of the other platforms. Follow that inspiration. This is what it means to have an intuitively led business. If I'd have followed this last year, it would have been a should, and it wouldn't have worked for me. I'm following it this year when that beautiful sacred masculine inspired action is moving through me. And I can feel it in every part of my being that this will be a successful channel for me. So if you resonate with the truth of co-creating New Earth, and you know this is why you're here this lifetime, as the bridge between the old and the new epochs, and that your business is an important part of that, but you also recognize that it's your personal journey, it's your mission that is creating that bridge, then follow me on YouTube. I'll pop the link in the show notes. And if you're searching on YouTube, my channel is my name, Jacquelyn Atkins. Just make sure you've got that Jacquelyn with an L-Y-N, not an L-I-N-E. My mother had to be different. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you have been inspired in some way by my story. And I hope that we can also connect on YouTube. Thank you for being in my world.